Faster than a speeding bullet.
I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid.
More powerful than a locomotive.
An idea is like a virus. Resilient. Highly contagious.
Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Betterhumanology podcast. My name is Jared Moon, and with me is Talon Schwam. What's up, Talon?
What's up, Jared, and everyone else?
Hello. So, if this is your first time to the Betterhumanology podcast, I'd like to say welcome. So glad to have you.
Welcome home.
The podcast is 100% here to make you a better human. We're trying to become better humans ourselves. We do that a lot of different ways, and you're going to learn more about those ways the more you listen to the podcast. Maybe I'll give a little teaser and people will just stick around for long periods of time. But one thing I'm really excited about this week, before we even hop into the episode, is last week we announced that we're going to be answering questions on the podcast. Something I'm really excited about, Talon super excited about.
Super excited about it.
And so we did get some submissions, so we're going to answer two of those questions right now. Just to kind of keep it short where we can still get to the episode. But if you want to ask us a question, just go to betterhumanology.com, and there's a little button that says Ask a Question. And you can either record an audio if you're busy and don't feel like typing, or you can click a little link and type us out a question, and we will answer it on the show. Really exciting for us and cool for you guys. You can literally ask us anything, and we'll put it on the show. Go ahead and get crazy with that. Challenge me. See if I'll actually answer anything. I know Talon will. But, all right, let's get to the first question for this week, and it was from Kareem. He said...
What's up, Kareem?
What's up, Kareem? He said, it would be great if you talked about how to become a strength coach. My dream is to have my own strength and conditioning gym, but I'm not sure how to start, as my passion is in fitness and sports, but I don't have any educational background in this area. I'm a sales account manager, and I'm pretty sure that I will quit that career to start living my dream. All the best, Kareem.
Well, I think I'll defer to you on that one, Jared.
Pretty awesome, following your dream, right, Talon?
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah. Kareem, that's respectable, my man. I love to hear about people, maybe stepping outside of their bounds or outside their comfort zone to follow their dream, especially in a big way by changing a career. That's what I did, and I've never looked back, and I'm much happier this way. So good on you, Kareem.
And so to answer your question, if you don't want to go the formal education route, the easiest way is to get your CSCS, and that is to become a certified strength and conditioning specialist. And you can just go ahead and Google that, but you basically study for it. You can get the book. They have study materials. Get the materials, take the test, pass the test, and then you are CSCS. And that's actually a pretty prestigious certification. In fact, when I was still in the Air Force, some of the strength and conditioning coaches within Air Force Special Operations, I worked with them a lot, and I asked the head guy there, I was like, all right, dude, what would it take for me to post active duty career, be a coach here, on a permanent basis? I actually had that conversation before I got out, and he said that would be the only thing that I would need, and I would be good to go. Obviously, I didn't go that route, but a lot of universities and stuff, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a CSCS. It gets your foot in the door. You'll still probably have to do an internship and work your butt off. I mean, all that kind of stuff goes without saying. But starting with a CSCS is really the way to go if you're going to want to work for someone else. If you're looking to open your own gym, I'm going to say it doesn't matter as much. A CSCS is great to learn some of the, the science behind strength and conditioning and whatnot, but there's also a lot of kind of BS in that, in that curriculum that you don't need to know if you're going to be opening up your own facility. So something to think about. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, just make sure you have certifications. CSCS doesn't necessarily matter, but if you want to go work for a college football team or something and be a strength and conditioning coach, definitely go CSCS. So, long-winded answer.
First answer. We're bringing in banger responses for these questions, guys.
Yeah, so that's it, Kareem. That's what I would say to do if you want to be a strength coach. All right, next we have Thomas.
Thomas, what's up, man?
sent us an email, and he had the subject of, let's see here, it is lifting, new dad with baby drain. Ooh. Right when I read that email, I was like, this is going to be awesome. So excited to read it because I'm already there. Anyway, it says, hey guys, thanks for the awesome podcast and info. Really a great resource for all of us wanting to be stronger and harder to kill. I love that. I feel like I have finally found a strength community that more closely aligns with my lifting philosophy. Here's my question. Is it possible to get stronger only lifting 2 times per week, getting little sleep, and not eating enough? Our 6-month-old is still not sleeping through the night. I keep getting frustrated losing weight. He's lost 8 pounds in the last 6 months. And strength, he could squat 315 for 3, and now he's down to 275 maybe. He said, as I type this out, I wonder if it is actually my mindset that needs strength, needs a change, with a focus more on simply maintaining and enjoying the lifts rather than progress under the bar. Thanks for the insight. Keep up the great content. By the way, just left a 5-star review. Thank you, Thomas, for the 5-star review.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that.
And thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks.
Tal, I'm going to let you hop in first with anything you have to say to Thomas, and then I can talk specifically about the whole being a dad with baby drain.
Yeah, I think it's another question really, really designed for you, well, since you have the baby, and it's another physical activity lifting one. Anyway, so for me, I would say is that, first of all, Thomas, we're not just a strength community, my man. I know if maybe there's some deficits in your life in an area, like you really want to focus on making sure that you're getting better in your physical fitness and getting stronger, I can understand that. But, if there's a million things you can be getting better at all the time, and we're offering those things as well. So, I want to applaud you for still trying to do the best you can under the tough situation or tough circumstances of having a 6-month-old. I'll be there soon, my man. So I have no idea how hard that is right now. But at the same time, every week we have new things coming out to try and help you become a better human. So I maybe rely on some of those, and I'm sure Jared will give you some, specific response.
Yeah, so we are a strength community. No,
we are, but not just.
Yeah. So I have 2 children. I've had 2 babies that did not sleep through the night basically at all. And right. For, like you said, 6-month-old still not sleeping through the night. I've experienced that twice. Both my boys were that way. And I completely understand where you're coming from, and it is a tough spot. So what I would say, you're like 100% correct there at the end of the email where you said, I wonder if it's just my mindset that needs to change. I just worry about maintaining, and that is exactly what I do. I was forced to with the first kid. With the second kid, I was like, I'm not even going to think about a PR or trying to get faster, stronger, anything. I just need to make sure that I'm still putting in the work, getting things done, because I was the same exact way as you. I lost some weight. I was barely getting any sleep, but I was still getting workouts in. To answer your question specifically, is it possible to get stronger lifting only 2 times per week, not eating, getting a little sleep? I'm going to say no. Is it possible? Maybe somewhere, but in all honesty, you need to be sleeping a lot, you need to be eating a lot, and I would encourage you to do 3 times per week if you can, but I don't want you to get discouraged from that answer, because like I said, you just need to be worried about getting the work done, getting in the gym and getting it done. Don't worry so much about, exactly like you said, making progress under the bar. Just the fact that you're still getting it done means you're a better human than most, because some people would use that as a golden opportunity to cop out and not work out anymore, and blame it on being busy or tired or whatever. So the fact that you're even doing it is amazing. So just keep doing that, knowing that your kid's going to sleep at some point, and then after that, pick it back up, get stronger, faster, and harder to kill. All right, guys, that's the questions this week. If you have a question, like I said, go to betterhumanology.com. Would love to answer some more. Those are actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
All right, dude.
Woo!
What are we doing this week, Talon? Let's hop into the episode now.
This week we have an experiment. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love experiments. They're my favorite part of the show. So this week we have the Strength Finder 2.0. It's like a psychological survey, kind of like one of those personality tests out there. I'm sure most listeners have taken one. I know I've taken like 1 million. You said you've taken like 1 million. But it was made into a book and then a program. And really what it does is it's 180 questions that's supposed to give people their top 5 best strengths. And kind of the concept is to make sure that people, when they know their strengths, they're better able to utilize their strengths and therefore are more successful and more happy. And so have you ever heard of a Gallup poll, Jared?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Well, those people.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, for some reason I just think Gallup, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know who they are. They do a lot of polls and surveys and stuff. Well, it fits right in line because that's the people that did this. And so many years of research conducted by the Gallup organization suggests that the most effective people are those who understand their strengths and their behaviors. So these people are best able to develop strategies to meet and exceed the demands of their daily life, their careers, and their families. And they say that a review of the knowledge and skills you have acquired can provide a basic sense of your abilities, but an awareness and understanding of your natural talents will provide true insight into the core reasons behind your consistent successes. So that's kind of a lot to say right from the bat, but what they do is they with, you know, a $15 upfront kind of deal, you take 180, you know, questions and you choose basically it's like a polar opposites. Well, they're not really opposites, but 2 sides, and you choose kind of in the middle which one you're more like. And at the end, they give you, you know, those 5 strengths you have, which is in a report. They give you your strength insight guide, which is kind of supposed to help you understand, like I mentioned earlier, people who really understand and reflect and really know their strengths rather than just maybe know a couple of their strengths, are better able to use them. And then they're supposed to offer the action planning guide, which I thought was real interesting when I looked over it. But that's kind of the entire experiment in its, you know, in its entirety, really. I mean, the Strength Finder 2.0 gives you your top 5 strengths, and really for those that don't know them, you know, hopefully it helps you become more successful. So here's the one thing I really do want to say right up front, that it kind of proposes that the after you do this StrengthsFinder 2.0, it's supposed to really help you with. I thought these are really interesting, so I want to make sure that the audience hears these. So it's supposed to improve your life and those around you because you know your strengths better, and it's supposed to give you those comprehensive strengths discovery and action planning guide to help raise your self-improvement. So it's supposed to make you better around you, and then help make your work more meaningful, which was the most interesting one to me. By understanding what you do best, help hopefully somehow make you, you know, do your work and make it feel better while you're doing it. So I don't know if we got all of that in there with our little experiment, but I'd like to see what Jared has to say about it. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, man, I think that this the whole idea of the Strengths Finder is really interesting because, you know, it helps you get to know more about yourself and find your strengths, basically, which can go a long way in helping you achieve more, in my opinion. But the whole reason that I was like intrigued by so Talon brought this when he's like, "Do you think this would be good for the show?" And I was in complete agreement. I thought it was awesome because I completely, like, fundamentally disagree with trying to get better, trying to improve your weaknesses as like your main goal. You know,
right?
I think that it's like
try to become good at everything, like eliminate weaknesses and just be good at everything.
Yeah, and like I think that's straight BS. Like, people say that all the time, and I could not disagree more. Is like, yeah, like, oh, you have a weakness, find it, and then turn it into a strength. Like, that's not possible all the time, and it's not worth it. Like, for instance, so Talon, you're a really good artist, and I am like the world's worst artist. Like, stick figures are even confusing when I show it to people sometimes. And if I were like, you know what, I really suck at drawing. You know, that's what I need to become better at that, because that's going to make me better. And then I would have a depressing day every day. And, you know, maybe eventually I would get better to a point, but I would probably still be light years behind Talon, which would still make me feel like a failure, because that's just not something I'm good at. You know, it's like I don't want to be good at it. So I think the whole trying to improve your weaknesses is BS. To me, it even goes to fitness. Like, especially if you're in the, you know, really deep into the CrossFit community, you like find a weakness and destroy it, you know, and like train it all the time. And I agree with that to a point, but not overly so, because I think if you are pretty good at most things, like, you don't need to be good at everything to be like a really fit, badass human being. I just don't agree with that. So I do agree with a lot of CrossFit stuff. I'm just saying, like, if you can walk on your hands for 15 feet as opposed to 50 feet, you're fine. You're an athlete. Congratulations. But, if you can still run and lift weights, lift a lot of weight and run really fast, then those things matter more than, whether or not you can do double unders, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think weaknesses suck big time. Focusing on your weaknesses, I think it's absolutely the wrong way to go. I mean, I'm totally in agreement. And in the psychology world, we have this thing called positive psychology that's really, really like exploding nowadays. It's really gets away from like, if anybody thinks about what therapy or counseling or ever is, think about, oh, well, this is what is going wrong with you. This is what problems you have. This is what you want to fix in your life. And you focus on that. Usually that's been the kind of historical method. But now with positive psychology, it's focused on your strengths and what you do well and what you have that's positive in your life. And we're finding out that focusing on your strengths is a lot more beneficial for people who not only need healing, but just people that want to get better. And usually it makes people a little bit happier too. Who wants to sit there and think about, oh, I have this deficit or this problem I need to go over and try and get better, over and all, like you were saying, it's going to make you miserable. Whereas focus on your strengths almost makes you feel motivated to work on those more and more and get those better. So I'm in absolute agreement. And I think that's kind of what this experiment really highlights with the Strength Finder 2.0 is that not everybody out there, as I kind of touched on earlier, has taken personality measurements or really maybe isn't even that introspective. Maybe they haven't done the meditation or things like that, and they don't really know that much about themselves and their own strengths. Maybe they only have heard what they've done wrong in their life. Maybe they had a really, really very disciplinarian leadership parenting ship when they were growing up. But I think that's what this can help with those people is that if you don't know your strengths, this will give you your strengths really in huge detail and tell you a little bit how to use them. So, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why we did it.
Yeah, and I think if you are like an entrepreneur, a businessman, anything like that, knowing your strengths and using them to your advantage is really going to go a long way, especially if you could leverage other people's strengths that are your weaknesses. As you'll hear soon, so Talon and I are best friends. We've been friends for a long time, and something that confuses people a lot of times is how different we actually are. Some people might think that we're actually pretty similar, but you'll find in our top 5 strengths, or if you were to really get to know either one of us, that we're not similar at all. So we're a really good team for that reason. So I think like even in business, if you know you have weaknesses, don't go and try to get better at them. Maybe find a partner or someone who could help you, balance that out and bring the equation up, help everyone achieve more. So do you want to hop into what our top 5 strengths were?
Yeah, absolutely. What are your top 5, Jared?
Are you making me go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so my top 5 strengths, and they give you your top 5. You could get all 34 if you wanted to, and an analysis on that. But if you just want to pay the $15 and no more, and no, we don't benefit from you spending money if you go take this test.
No, we had to pay $15 as well.
Yeah, so my top 5 were, number 1, I'm an achiever. I like to achieve.
That makes sense.
Number 2, I'm a learner.
Okay.
Number 3, competition. So I'm very competitive. 4 is focus. When I'm doing something. So that one, they have like little videos and descriptions. Focus was like almost scary with like them describing like kind of how you are. It's basically saying like someone else could walk in the room when I'm focused on something and I don't know that they exist, and that can be very true.
See, that's not really a strength, but at the same time, you learn a little bit about yourself in other ways.
Yeah, well, they teach you how to use your strength in like things that you also might need to look out for. Like
gotcha.
Where
right.
Focus has hurt me the worst is if I'm like really focused on a problem, and then it's family time and I can't break free. Like that was a big problem earlier this year. I mean, not like a big marital problem or anything like that. I hated myself for it because I was like, why can't I, get out of my head? And I've learned some strategies to help mitigate that stuff now, but focus, that one was very true. And then the last one is deliberative. Like I just think about things really well. I research all my options most of the time before I go on. So those are my top 5. Yours.
Yeah, My top 5 are like you were talking about. It's like the pendulum swung exactly the opposite way for me. My number 1 is ideation. So just I love new ideas and thinking. Number 2 is a relator. So I'm really good at relating to others and seeing other perspectives. Number 3 is adaptability, which I've said my entire life since I was like, growing up as a military brat since I was like 6 years old. People are like, what is your best quality? What is your biggest strength? And I'm always like adaptability, because I feel like that's something that I'm good at, getting myself into new situations and just easing right in. And then I've got strategic, kind of a big picture, sometimes, thinker. Maximizer is my 5th one. And that's the one I think you were really interested in that I had. And that's just about being able to kind of see other people's talents and help them maximize those abilities to their best. So I think that's probably a little bit probably how I fit good in this show. Trying to help people become as best as they can. That's really what the goal is here on the show. But as you can see, there's 34 strengths that you could have, that you could get by taking this test. And we've only given you 10 as an example, but you can see that they're very they're broad enough concepts that that they can give you lots of detailed information on how this strength can be used, and like you said, some pitfalls to watch out for with these certain strengths. So,
I think it's funny we didn't even have one overlap.
Not one at all. I know.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The maximizer on you is really interesting to me, just because I think that you'd be the perfect fit for you is kind of like managing people, but like at a high level. So I'm not saying like a manager, like a CEO. No, CEOs are a little more action driven, I think.
That's true, yeah.
I think that is that a chief operations officer or something? Somebody who, like, if there's a problem in a company, you wouldn't worry about solving the problem. You would know the right person to put in the problem, and you would make them feel amazing about fixing the problem.
That sounds like my priority would be.
Yeah. And
because I know I wouldn't be the best one to do it. Like we're talking about strengths. Use your strengths. Use other people's strengths too.
Yeah, man. It's all about leverage.
Maybe this is how it improves the lives of those around you. Because I thought that was a little far-fetched sounding, but
yeah, it is kind of crazy. They claim a lot in their stuff.
They do. That's why I wanted to read those. Yeah,
we'll reel it back to the experiment now. So obviously, why we did it, because we want to see if this could make us better by knowing more about ourselves. And
right.
Will it help us understand ourselves more and live better lives and all that, every crazy claim that they said? Maybe. But I mean, what was your thoughts of going in? What did you think this test could actually do for you? Because we've both taken a lot of tests, especially going through the military and ROTC and college stuff. We've taken a billion of these tests, and you a lot because of your because graduate degree. And
right, yeah, if you've taken billions, I've probably even taken twice as many, just because of to be able to issue them to people, to give them out, that I need to have taken them myself and understand them well. So, with the Strength Finder 2.0, honestly, to me, it's not people have probably heard of things like the Myers-Briggs type indicator, or things like that out there, which are big time, big name, tell you about your personality tests, more like those big ones. So this one for me was something newer. I've really just come across it here in the last couple of months. And for me, I was a little bit skeptical. I've taken, like I said, so many. I've got a pretty good idea of my own personality, and my own strengths and my own weaknesses. And so I felt like I wasn't going to learn a whole lot with the Strengths Finder 2.0. But I want to reel that back a little bit, because I was actually really surprised. I'm not going to go ahead and give my final determination on the Strength Finder yet, but I was very surprised because I didn't think that it would pull out things like Maximizer. That's not something that I usually highlight as a strength of mine. Like, I think it's a great thing, and I probably will now. Maybe if I'm going to a job interview, my mindset has changed a little bit for how I want to sell myself. That's probably another good takeaway from this thing. But I did pick out. It did pick out for me a couple of things that I probably wasn't as aware of. I don't know if I would put ideation number one. Now I probably need to look a little bit more into that and look at the action plan and see how I can highlight that a little bit better. So for me, I think it surprisingly was better than I thought it was going to be, because I thought, we'll see if this makes it better, because this is saying it's going to make my life way better, and I doubt it. But, I don't know. What'd you think?
Well, and one thing I want to point out is The reports that you get go really in depth. There's like
Really in depth.
a PDF for each one of your 5 strengths. So that's good to know because it tells you a lot more about it. It's not just like my number one's achiever. So it's like, oh, you like to achieve. Congratulations. It tells you a lot of stuff about like how to manage yourself and like maybe the way you should structure your work and all sorts of stuff. So like it goes really in depth. For me, you know, going in, if there was like a personality type that was, I don't give a shit about the results of your personality test, that would be what I would deem myself as, if I could self-elect my personality type. Like I really I don't care about a personality type, you know, like I've never cared about that stuff just because I think I'm very content with who I am and I'm not trying to figure that out. And maybe that's the achiever in me. Just I'm moving forward. I don't care about the idea of it to try and throw your number one in there. That was your number one, right? Well, anyway,
Yeah.
all I'm trying to say is going in, since I don't like these tests very much, just because I generally don't care, I was very surprised at kind of how it structures the strengths. So going in, I didn't think it would do much, but I was surprised when it's like, look, dude, you're an achiever, which is great. Like you're gonna set goals, achieve them, blah blah blah. But like, watch out because you will get overworked. You will run yourself into the ground. You know, all these things, and like I'm like, yep, that's true too. And it's good to know those things, especially if you're way early on in your career, or maybe like we talked about earlier, if you've never taken these tests, it could be incredibly beneficial to help you learn more about yourself.
Absolutely. I think you can learn some things from personality tests as well. So I'm not going to jump right in the boat and say that, you know, I think I hate them as well, or I think they're crap.
I'm not saying I hate them. I'm saying I think that they're very beneficial because every one I've taken, I've been like, yeah, that's probably true. You know, like the good ones at least. I'm like, yeah. But that never like, it doesn't give me like anything to go from there. It's like, that's some nice trivia, you know?
Well, see, I have to.
Let's go.
As a soon-to-be counselor, and based on how this test worked, how this experiment we have right here, how that worked. I mean, it's the same mindset. You'll learn things about yourself, about your personality. Sometimes they're weaknesses, sometimes they're strengths, sometimes they're just ways you learn or ways you look at things. And just understanding those things, just being aware of some of those things, sometimes can make you better.
No, I do completely agree with that.
Okay.
What I was saying was like sometimes, like this one goes really in depth with how to like manage your strength in both ways, like how to use it in a positive and how to mitigate the negative. What I'm saying is some of the other tests will just be like, you're a green. And it's like,
oh, got you, like 4 lenses.
It's like, great, I'm green. Thank you. You know,
that's what those tests are supposed to be accompanied by someone who's trained that can help you use the information from those tests for your benefit. Like that's why this is good. That's why the Strength Finder 2.0 is perfect, because
it's on $15 and you get all this information.
$15 and you basically have ready-made, you know, therapy kind of for like probably 3 sessions worth of information and all kinds of background stuff and how you're supposed to take action and utilize these strengths. So I think for that reason, you probably are getting your money's worth with this $15.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So I think we've covered
I think so. The experiment, it should take you guys like 35 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to do it if you're going to do it.
Where do they do it at?
They do it at the www.gallupstrengthcenter.com.
Yeah, and you can just sign up for the test. $15. Takes a little bit of time.
Notes.
The questions are timed, right? Yeah.
Okay, that's the one thing I do want to give you a heads up. I probably missed like 2 or 3 questions because, like I said, it's not polar opposites. You'll answer like which one you're more like, which statement you're more like between 2 statements, and like it'll be like a less than, more than kind of thing. And you have 20 seconds, and you have to read both of them and make a decision. So really, you have to go with your gut. For me, it was a little bit, anxiety raising, because it was like, holy crap, I'm not either one of these things, or I'm like both of them. So be a little bit prepared for that, because I really wasn't until I jumped right into it. So
yeah, and I mean, I liked the simplicity of the test, because sometimes, like I have taken a lot of these, it's like sometimes there's like 6 answer choices. It's like, a little bit like this, a lot like this, and so this one's really easy with the options and stuff. So good test. Take it, man. It's easy. Move to the answer, Talon. Approve or disapprove?
For me, it's an approval, and I'll say, even though the entire show is like it usually probably is for me, I end up talking pretty positively if it's going to be an approval at the end. But for this one, it really took a lot of thought because I really feel like this should be a free, service that's out there. I know a lot of research, and they say decades and decades of research has gone by with the Gallup organization to come up with the information to make this strength finder. And it is a lot of information, but at the same time, like this is helpful for everyone. And there are lots of, instruments and surveys out there that are free. And I feel like this can help a lot more people if it was made free. But with that being said, I think the benefits outweigh the $15, or if you buy the book, $25. And absolutely, to know your strengths, it could help you. So get out there and understand your strengths better, guys. What did you think, Jared?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an approval as well. And I completely agree. I think that they should give you your 5 for free. It should tell me I'm an achiever, learner, competitive, focused, deliberative. And then if I want those, like the report, the insight guide, and the action plan and all that other stuff, I think that's what you should pay $15 for. Because in all honesty, knowing those 5 words does next to nothing to me, and I've already kind of talked about that. But those 3 PDFs alone that they gave me with it are huge and well worth $15. So I give it approval for the money spent and just for learning who you are, because you could take those 5 strengths into any area of your life, whether that's fitness, business, marriage, life in general. Knowing your strengths and playing to them and helping mitigate the negative stuff that come with your strengths is going to be huge in every area and aspect of your life. Thus, I think it can make you a better human. So, like I said, 100% approval for me.
Absolutely. We're on the same track then.
All right, guys, if you have any questions for the Better Humanology podcast, head over to betterhumanology.com, click the button, and you will be on your way to asking a question and getting it submitted or answered here on the show. If your question didn't get answered from last time and did get submitted, don't worry. It's coming. Your answer is coming on the show. Also, if you like the show, please give us 5-star review and a positive comment. But that's it for this week, guys.
Thanks.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best.